When I was young, when I was about 10 or 11, I remember a song from my childhood. And I may look it up. I just thought of it the other day when I was thinking about what I was going to say tonight. And the name of the song is No Man is an Island. No man is an island. No man stands alone. Each man's joy is joy to me. Each man's grief is my own. We had a tragedy in Minneapolis this last week. Somebody who had been through an operation, a surgery that they later regretted, decided to take it out on a religious institution, went to a church, shot through the windows where children and adults were having their mass, I think it was a Wednesday morning mass, and people were injured, but two children were killed. And this person, later on, I think they basically died by their own hand, but they found ammunition with words inscribed, and this is what they wanted to do. So, we're watching a newscast, and a couple of people brought up what I thought was an interesting point. Didn't anybody see this coming? And I don't mean people maybe on social media, I don't mean maybe people that they knew in passing, but what about family? What about family? Did you see this person's grief, their anguish? What have we been talking about in the Torah over the last 4 weeks? We talked about how we're a community. We talked about the V'ahavta, where each person is responsible for their own karma, for their own actions, and need to observe the commandments. But then right away, the next parsha, and parshas other, say we're a group. It's in the group, it's in the plural. We gotta watch out for each other. They warn us, it's a warning, I think, that they say if a city starts to revert to idolatry, there are severe consequences. In other words, make sure people don't do it. That's why it's in there. People look at the Torah and say it's about reward and punishment. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's about the fact that these are things that can happen. Be aware of them. Where was this person's family? Where were people that were close to them? And if people were not close to them, what does Judaism say? It says, honor the stranger. What does that mean? It means that if you're in school, or if you're at work, and there's a new person in school, there's a new person at work, befriend them. Say hello. How you doing? Welcome them. Because each man's joy is joy to me, each person's grief is my own. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe that might have averted the tragedy if this person felt like they had somebody to talk to, or somebody that actually considered who they were. We look at some of the things that go on in the world. We've had a spate of shootings. This country, it's like an infestation. It's an epidemic. And all these people were troubled. Now, I know that, I don't know if some of you are familiar with a movie, came out a few years ago called Minority Report with Tom Cruise, right? Where they have these psychics that predict who's going to commit a crime. We don't have that. That's not reality. That's fantasy. But, and they say, if we only had more mental health. But in order to make that to be effective, people have to want to do it. They have to want to go get counseling. And if they don't get counseling, if they think they're above it, mental health resources aren't going to do any good. This is why the Torah is all about community. It's about the people of it. B'nai Israel. B'nai, it means children, the plural. This is why we need a minyan, a group of 10 or more adults to say specific prayers, to do a sanctification of God. Not that, oh, well, I don't have a minyan, I can't make it. You tell your friend, hey, we need a minyan. You've seen this on some TV shows. Some guy's walking in the street, someone, hey, are you Jewish? Hey, we need a minyan. We're doing a mourner's cottage. We need you. Could you join us for a few minutes? It's about a group. And maybe, we all have our lives, we all have our stresses, we all have our challenges, and we get wrapped up in them. You know, we walk around sometimes, there's a big cloud over our head, we don't want to do anything to anybody. But have you ever been in that mood and somebody just looks at you and smiles? And what does that do to you? It elevates your mood immediately, doesn't it? So that's what we need to do. All this talk about laws, you know, and resources, we have to look out for each other. We're one people. We finished our Miller course today. And what did we talk about? We talked about that God made us all with the same mold, and yet we are all different. The same mold, and we are all different. And if you kill one person, you've killed their generations to come. You've destroyed a world. So let's think about that. You know, a forest is made up of individual trees. And the forest only looks as good as each individual tree. So let's water and nurture those trees, each other. And I think maybe, just maybe, we might avert further disasters.